They start asking for your time. You are already nodding. They keep explaining. You say, "Yeah, sure," before the request is even finished. Then there is that tiny pause, not from you, from them, because they realize they did not have to finish. They did not have to explain the cost. They did not have to wait while you checked your own life. Your agreement arrived before your judgment did. And that is where something changes. You were trying to be easy, but you just made access to "you feel automatic." And the worst part is, it feels polite. It feels mature. It feels like being someone people can count on. But there is a difference between being dependable and being instantly available. Dependable has standards. Instantly available has no entry cost. That is the loop this video is going to break. The first mistake is not the yes. The first mistake is skipping the pause that proves your time has weight. Someone begins with, "Can you help me with something?" And before you know what the thing is, your face has already softened. Your head moves. Your mouth opens. You're halfway into agreement before your mind has done the math. That tiny moment matters. Because the pause is where judgment lives. The pause is where you check your schedule. The pause is where you ask, what exactly are they asking me to give up? But when you skip it, you send a signal before you even understand the request. You make the request feel approved while it is still being formed. Now they do not have to persuade. They do not have to be precise. They do not have to respect the cost. You removed the weight before they had to carry it. That is where your value starts leaking. Not because you helped. Because you helped too fast to be taken seriously. People read your speed more clearly than your intention. You think the fast yes says, "I am kind." You think it says, "I am supportive." You think it says, "I do not want to make this difficult." But socially, it can read very differently. It can read as, "My time is easy to enter." It can read as, "You do not need to prepare before asking me." It can read as, "My answer will adjust before your request becomes respectful." That is the uncomfortable part. People do not always remember your sacrifice. They remember how easy it was to get access. They remember that they started asking, and you were already giving. They remember that your schedule never appeared in the conversation. They remember that your own life did not seem to interrupt their need. So next time, their ask gets lighter, less careful, less explained. They say, "Could you just?" They say, "It should only take a minute." They say, "I figured you would be okay with it." That phrase is the receipt. I figured. That means they did not consider. They assumed. And assumption is what happens when access has become too cheap. This is why the faster you say yes, the cheaper your time looks. Price is not only money. Price is friction. A valuable thing requires attention. It requires respect. It requires a moment of consideration before someone reaches for it. Your time works the same way. When there is no pause, no question, no check, no condition, people feel no edge around your availability. And without an edge, access feels free. That is the mechanism. Your fast yes removes the social cost of asking. They do not feel the weight of interrupting you. They do not feel the need to explain why it matters. They do not feel the discipline of waiting for your real answer. Because your body already answered for you. You nodded. You smiled. You rushed to make the moment smooth. And now the request is no longer being evaluated. It is being absorbed. That is the hidden loss. You trained them to skip your judgment. And once people learned they can get past your judgment by moving quickly, they will keep moving quickly. They will ask in passing. They will ask when you are distracted. They will ask with half the details. Because speed worked before. So why do you keep doing it? Because the pause feels dangerous. The moment someone asks, silence suddenly feels like rejection. A slower answer feels cold. A question feels like resistance. A boundary feels like you are becoming difficult. So you rush. You rush to protect your image. You rush to keep the mood warm. You rush to prove you are generous before anyone can accuse you of being selfish. But that is not generosity. That is fear wearing good manners. And it costs more than you think. Because every time you say yes before checking yourself, you teach your nervous system that other people's comfort comes before your own consent. That is how self-respect gets discounted. Not in one big betrayal, in 100 tiny moments where you do not let yourself think. The correction is not to become cold. The correction is to make the pause visible. Let the question land. Do not nod immediately. Do not fill the silence. Do not rescue them from the fact that they are asking for part of your life. Ask one clean question. What does it involve? When do you need it? How much time are you asking for? Let me check before I answer. That one sentence changes the frame. Now access is no longer automatic. Now your time has a door. And the door does not need to be dramatic. It only needs to exist. If the answer is yes, say it with terms. Yes, I can do that after 4. Yes, but I only have 20 minutes. Yes, this time, but I need more notice next time. If the answer is no, do not decorate it with guilt. I can't take that on today. That does not work for me. I'm not available for that. Then stop. The pause protects the yes. The pause protects the no. The pause protects you. Your time starts looking cheap when you hand it over before anyone has to respect it. So stop treating every request like an emergency entrance into your life. Let people wait long enough to meet your judgment. Let them feel that your time belongs to someone before it becomes available to them. You. Because the pause is not rude. The pause is the price of access, and if someone cannot handle that pause, they were not asking respectfully. They were reaching automatically.